Travel at low cost with points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.
You're listening to the Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Vacula, here to help you travel the world at next to no cost with credit card points, miles, benefits, and rewards. Make money, save money, and take advantage of great deals. Thanks for joining me for today's episode with returning podcast guest, Marc Konchinsky. We talk about online gambling funded with credit cards, Marc's recent points and miles redemptions, and credit card options for beginners. Before today's episode, some quick announcements. I'll be speaking at multiple events in 2024, including the September Chicago Seminars event at Hyatt Regency, the October Chicago Seminars event at Holiday Inn in Elk Grove Village, and the Miles Points and Gambling event Zorkfest, November 2024 in Las Vegas. Visit meetup.com/Philly Miles and Points to RSVP for monthly Greater Philadelphia Travel Credit Miles and Points meetups I host in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. The next meetups are September 15th and October 20th. The website udio.com created the new podcast intro music. On with today's episode. Welcome back to the show, Marc Konchinsky, now with Miracle Auto.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Yeah, formerly known as Kutztown Auto. Now it's Miracle Buick GMC Cadillac, but same dealership, same place.
And consider after the episode buying a vehicle from Marc. I did. Everything's going well, and we're continuing the miles and points hustle, which is what we're here to talk about today. Although buying a car is optional, extra credit.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey would advise against that for sure, but you sometimes have to buy vehicles to, get two places reliably.
Well, he'd advise against the loan. He'd want the cash in full.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about other things. This past podcast guest Darren on the recent episode said would give him a stroke. So we'll definitely go in that direction, talking about credit cards and gambling.
Right.
Your show about a year ago you were on, we were talking about the online gaming indirectly funded with credit. So since then, some things have changed, but can you give listeners a quick recap in case they missed the episode a year ago about what we're doing with credit and online gambling?
We're buying prepaid debit cards and DraftKings and FanDuel cards using credit cards at an advantage, because you get the reward points for supermarkets or gas stations or home improvement stores or office supply stores. Then we're taking those points and going traveling with them, earning free nights, airline flights, and then also Blackjack has the best edge. We're using a guide program as far as what to do at various point combinations of our cards versus the dealer's card.
Right. We're getting an advantage through the acquisition side, although we're giving up about 0.5% house edge playing through funds one time in Blackjack. We're still coming up. We're still coming up with credit card bonus categories. We're spending toward welcome bonuses, retention offers, high spend goals, and much more. Most recently, we got a lot of MasterCards as staples with the fee-free MasterCard promotion, earning 5x with multiple now Chase Ink cash cards. You have multiple since you've been on a year ago, so you're leveling up.
I just got the third one today. I changed one of my existing Ink cards over to become another Ink cash card.
Lots of opportunity. And you mentioned the FanDuel gift cards. This is something new. The last time we recorded, we were buying the DraftKings gift cards, various prepaids like vanilla MasterCards, vanilla Visas, secure spend, and much more. But now you've seen FanDuel gift cards in many locations. Where have you been seeing the FanDuel cards?
Definitely Staples. It's a new display for DraftKings and FanDuel, and of course MGM, for whatever use those are for. Definitely some more opportunities. Oh, and also if you don't mind paying with debit, they're over at Giant Grocery Stores, which is a regional grocery store chain, regional to us. So in the Northeast here, you see them there. I guess you might see them other places too.
Now, I haven't seen the FanDuel at Wawa. I've only seen the DraftKings gift cards and Game On at Wawa. but the FanDuel may be spreading. Giant also is only carrying the DraftKings, but I've seen the FanDuel at Lowe's, which is interesting
Right.
because they have mobile pay that you could use your Altitude Reserve card to buy DraftKings and FanDuel gift cards at Lowe's. How's that been for you? You've recently...
It's great. It's definitely the fastest get in, get your cards, get out timetable. Otherwise, you have to go to like customer service to have them or at a random register, and you're usually limited by how much money you can spend at a grocery store before it requires a manager to come over. But you could do up to 495, I guess, would be the stopping point at Lowe's for self-checkout.
Yes, usually the manager override is needed over that 400 point. So I know you can get the game on 400s, no manager override. With the FanDuel,
Right.
I do 2 separate transactions of 250 each. So that way it doesn't trigger the manager override. Sometimes that manager is
Okay.
way in the back of the store. It takes like 5 minutes for them to come over. It's ridiculous. So 2 separate transactions of 250. Now, with self-checkout, I don't believe you can split tender, although you can add an item so that it throws off the
Yeah.
amount and it's not exactly 250. I go to customer service at my local Lowe's, so they do split tender on the transaction. So usually I do 199 and change on the Altitude Reserve, and then I use another card for the remainder, the 50 and change.
Yeah, as a homeowner, I usually just find I need something. There's usually something you can pick up for the house. So I usually just do self-checkout. You're in, you're out, you're on your way.
So it's been nice. The FanDuel gift card's $250 denominations, so it beats the 25s, the 50s, and 100s of DraftKings, and it's just another outlet.
Yes.
And my going theory is that using the branded gift cards on the casino sites will probably seem more legitimate and have us last longer.
Yeah, it seems to. I don't recall hearing any of us from the group like require any kind of heat for having the branded gift cards.
Yeah, and from the group, that's the Greater Philadelphia Travel Group. We have a messenger chat that we chat. We have in-person meetings in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, and we also chat online in between meetings as well. So if you, listener, are close to the Philadelphia area and like to attend, we'd be happy to meet you in person at an event. August 25th being the next of 2024.
And then also you have the Facebook group too.
Yes, Greater Philadelphia Travel Facebook page. Yes, the Lowe's DraftKings FanDuel, interesting to see now as it's just added more opportunities for spending, because previously at Lowe's we'd be getting the game on with the activation fee, paying the $5.95 on 400, or the golf MasterCards paying the $5.95 on 500 usually. So now the fee-free FanDuel have really accelerated the game, buying those at Lowe's and buying them at Staples as well. Although I haven't been buying many of the FanDuel at Staples because I think I can hit the 25,000 on the Chasing Cash. I know I can hit the 25,000 on the Chasing Cash just buying the MasterCards when the
Right.
promos are on anyway. But if I'm there and they're out of stock, I'd like to actually make something out of the trip rather than walking out empty-handed. So I have purchased some of the FanDuel at Staples.
I just ran into that for the first time too. I stopped at a different Staples than my normal one, and they didn't have the $200 MasterCards. So I ended up getting the FanDuels and DraftKings.
And this is interesting now. The American Express Business Gold has what they call a flexible business credit that you're getting $20 off or $20 back every month. So currently I have 3 business golds, as there have been the various no lifetime language offers. So I've been taking advantage of that credit. So usually 20 and change, and then the rest on the inks, another split tender at Staples. Some stores claim that you can't, but I know various ones that allow me to do that.
I've never had a problem. Sometimes they're not quite clear on how to do it, but they do figure it out.
Yeah, we've been purchasing lots of Game On at Weiss supermarkets at the time of recording. There's currently the back to school promotion, so you've cashed out many items that you've gotten on top of the credit card rewards, making it even more advantageous. Can you tell us about the back to school promo here in 2024?
Yeah, I think it's ending very soon, but you could get chicken nuggets or chicken cutlets, Pop-Tarts, wrapping, plastic wrap, laundry detergent, Hot Pockets, all for discounted or free from points, either discounted being free or a very nominal charge like 99 cents or $1.99. And so it's been a very nice promo. Normally, the Weiss has 18 count eggs for 9 cents if you cash in 100 points, which is not, it's a decent offer. there's only so many eggs you can use. So it's nice when they have these larger promos.
You're not on the all egg diet yet?
No, no. If I have extra points, we end up giving them to like coworkers of my girlfriend. So, but it's nice when they have a bigger promo like this that you actually can use more stuff. Justin and I are also going through the frozen vegetables we got on a previous promo.
Yep, I still have frozen veggies in my freezer from maybe
So
2
do
months
I.
ago, so hopefully they're still okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did get through all the frozen pizzas I got from that promo, though. They're all gone.
Past podcast guest Heidi said that she bought extra freezers, that she looked on Facebook Marketplace, that she bought extra freezers just to store all the food items that she would get through these various promos. So we're really putting
I did exactly that too.
Oh,
I
nice.
I did the same. I did the same thing. I did the same thing. We actually have two upright freezers. One of which I got for free. One I paid $50 for on Facebook Marketplace, and they're just great for promos like this. And then when they aren't needed, we haven't gotten to this point yet, but if they aren't needed, you can just unplug them and let them thaw until a good promo comes along again.
Nice. So buying a $250 FanDuel gift card, or let's say two of them for $500, you're getting the 500 points. And with this promotion, there were many free items at 100 points. So even if you were to get the $3 Hot Pockets, two for $3,
Absolutely.
you're getting what, 5 times 3, 15. America loves math. So you're getting additional $15 on top of the possible 4x Amex Personal Gold, 4.5 Altitude Reserve, whatever card you're using at grocery. So it really puts it way over that we're paying that 0.5% house edge in the long run on blackjack, but we're getting the credit card rewards, we're getting the grocery points, and getting so much more.
And actually, also the spend towards your sign-up bonus if you're careful.
Right. So for me, if I have a card that's bonusing grocery, or I have Altitude Reserve Mobile Pay, for instance, you recently got the City Strata Premier, so that's the real sweet spot if you're getting the grocery multiplier and working toward the sign-up bonus.
Right.
But it's at this point where I have so many cards bonusing grocery, I don't just want to use a card that's giving me 1x at grocery because I'm losing a little bit there, even though I'd be up because I know I can hit the sign-up bonus spend through other means. Unless maybe it's something like 20K or 30K in 3 months, then I guess we pivot to some grocery spend at that point. But for cards, it's like 2,000, 3,000 spend in 3 months. That's nothing. That's really easy to hit. Yeah, you got the Strata Premier recently, so you got the best of both worlds. Some other cards you got recently too.
I had the Altitude Reserve, the Strata Premier, and the Sapphire Preferred. I was working on the sign-up bonus for all three of them more or less the same time, and achieved them all pretty much the same time.
Yeah, probably it's about 80-90% of the online gambling or the manufactured spend, so you don't even need to rely on organic spend anymore to hit these sign-up bonuses.
And the nice thing about having two cards you're working on sign-up bonus for is that when you split tender, you can split between the two of them.
Yep, multiple cards at the same time is really good. As past podcast guest Darren says, the answer to everything is more credit cards.
Right.
Been really nice working on multiple bonuses or retention offers, high spend goals, whatever might be the case, rather than just using a card giving 2% cash back, or God forbid a debit card or actual cash. Although there have been some developments recently that have been strange, where Giant, for instance, you can't use credit to buy the DraftKings gift cards. So we've had to pivot to using a debit card, as Giant, PA anyway, had the 5X promotion. So we had to use actual debit cards in order to source these, or I guess we'd bring in a wad of $100 bills. So
Yes.
what was your experience with that promotion? You hit up a good amount of the DraftKings at the 5X.
Yeah, just the debit card thing. I don't have. You have a Discover one X back.
Yes.
Like you, I don't have that, but I just used debit card for it and just bought them and dealt with it, but also cashed in all the free gas. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The choice rewards can be used for gas or groceries. So this was one promo, I think, in a long time where you've actually had an excess of points you couldn't even use. So you ended up
Yes.
converting to groceries at the end of it. But of course, it was all gravy anyway, or at least we're paying about a 0.5% house edge, but getting 5X. So maybe it's like an 80% discount on groceries, somewhere around there.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
And some bonuses online too, offsetting that house edge a little bit. Like, oh, play 1,000 and we'll give you like $25 in free play. I get some of those on DraftKings. FanDuel giving $20 here or there. So it's really been fantastic just printing money from home.
Yeah, FanDuel's been very good about having a $5 promo for either depositing a certain amount of money or for playing a certain amount of money per day. And I guess the potential is there that you could cash in on like a $5 promo for depositing X amount of dollars, not actually play it through at all, and the next day look and see if there's a, $5 or $10 for playing through $100.
Yes, I recently had one where I played through about $4,000 and I got something like an $80 bonus. So with that bonus, it definitely put it over what the house edge and the acquisition side considered. And someone posted, well, how did you do on that $4,000? And my response was the day to day really doesn't matter. What matters is the long run, that as you put in enough volume, you're going to get close to expectation or reach expectation or even be above because of the bonuses. So for you, how has that been? Now you've put in a lot of volume over the year and a half that you've been doing this. And what's that looking like for you results wise after a pretty large sample?
I'm actually above expectations. I'm at like 101% return on spend for my play. I'm playing a smaller hand than you are, but with careful play and using the Blackjack Apprentice as a guide.
BlackjackApprenticeship.com is the site for listeners.
By using that as a guide, I've been doing pretty well. Recently changed from playing like 3 $5 hands at the same time just playing one $10 hand, which is pretty quick as far as gameplay. I'm doing all right. Keep cracking at it.
Yeah, that's good that you've moved up there, and hopefully you'll move on to multi-hand because it does take some time to play through the funds. So lessening that time is really nice. And sometimes I think it even takes longer to upload the cards than it does to actually play. But all in all,
Right.
It's like, okay, well, my rice cooker's on and I'm finished with my other to-do items, so I'll run some blackjack in the early afternoon. Or, okay, well, I'm home at 10 o'clock and I'm still alert and awake and good to play, so I'll play about an hour that evening and be okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely recommend playing when you're awake. Don't play when you're nodding off a bit. You'll make mistakes.
Yeah, and on my total volume, I'm on track to play about 750,000 this year. I said I was going for $1 million year, but that might not happen because some of the cards have not been working to load to sites. Some of the sites have shut down or moved out of the market. We lost Unibet. That was a really good one to liquidate a lot of different cards on, but now the Visas seem to be declined to some places, and the MasterCards are working well, but some of the MasterCards, if you try to load a $500 MasterCard, on the vanilla MasterCards anyway, I've received some declines, and then the card ends up getting locked. I have to request a new card, so it's a little bit of testing around to see what works where.
Yeah, they never want to share the line with you. No one wants to let us know what the
Yeah,
line
where
is.
is the line? Like, what is the acceptable
line.
amount of deposits, and how much can we do before we get some adverse action? And the adverse action, you've received some requests of like, oh, upload images of cards and things like that. So
Some are more time consuming and more stressful than others. I think it was FanDuel had like $800 of my money, and they were going to review it. It took like 26 days for them to finally clear me before giving my money back and letting me play. But recently I just had Bet Rivers do the same thing. They had $400 of my money, and it was a matter of just like taking photos of my license front and back and a selfie and send them a copy of the card, like a photo of that. And they never even told me I was released to gamble again, but you could. So I was able to gamble through the money I deposited, withdrew the money, and now uploaded more money to it and was able to play that money through as well. So I didn't pull that money out yet, but
yeah, so some speed bumps, unfortunately.
yeah, and no one has a toll-free number. That you have to do this all through chat and email, and it's very frustrating. I don't know how they're able to get away with such low quality customer service these various sites, but at least we have online gambling, whereas a lot of states don't have it.
Yeah, I've suspected that if we were just square sports bettors betting these like 8-leg parlays and just betting straight up on money lines, that we probably wouldn't get these requests. But it could be the case that it's just a know your customer thing. But then when they're starting to talk about, oh, you're violating the terms, or you've deposited too much, even though it said that I could deposit, and they took the money and I played through it, it gets wonky. But some of the manufacturer spend in person can also get wonky too, as stores will say, oh no, we only accept cash for money orders. even though you were just there the day before and used debit or a debit
Yes.
card or a prepaid card, or, oh, we need to see your card and ID. Or you get to a line, you get to the end of the line, oh, the money order machine is down. So there's some speed bumps, unfortunately, with liquidation, whether it's online or in person. But doing it from the comfort of your own computer chair at home, I find to be far preferable than the in-person liquidation for the most part.
Sure.
And I've always gotten paid, even though I've gotten accounts restricted or even shut down in some cases. I've always gotten paid. So it's not like the regulated sites are just going to take your money and disappear in some random offshore place.
But it is a little frustrating when you're like 3 weeks have gone by and they still have $800 of your money. It's like, are you going to release the funds? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I was on a little bit of a dispute with American Express recently where they didn't pay out the $200 Fine Hotels and Resorts credit with the Amex Platinum card. I made the stay, I stayed, but the credit was never there. And they say, oh, we'll wait a few weeks, whatever, but it still wasn't there. So I called in and I got transferred to multiple agents. I explained my story. Oh, we'll do an investigation and we'll get back with you. Well, they paid out the credit. That was nice. But the original reps were talking about, oh, well, are you sure you booked it with us and didn't directly call the hotel? And okay, well, I have a confirmation number here. And then it's, oh, well, I can't see that. So I have to transfer you to someone else. And yeah, it was strange, but I was made whole. And of course, the big wins are well worth a little bit of the struggle. But speaking of, you mentioned frustration. How have the downswings been? As I tell people to get into this, you're going to have some losses. Not every session is going to be a win. And even though it's about a 0.5% house edge, you're going to have some fluctuations. Whether
for
it
sure.
be multiple losing sessions in a row, or you're down 100, you're down 200, you're down a few hundred, whatever it is. How have you been dealing with the ups and downs of it?
I keep a very generic spreadsheet on Google Docs or Google Sheets, I guess it is, to keep track of my gameplay and what I've deposited and how much I've returned and when, like what date I deposited it and when I withdrew the money. It's not anywhere near as fancy as the professional app that you have.
Poker Bankroll Income Tracker is the app that I use.
You have to look at the big picture because by having the amount of money you played through totaled and also your winnings and losses totaled at the bottom, kind of gives you the average. So there are times when you upload a $200 MasterCard and the dealer's lucky that day and you're going to bring back, like, let's say $80, which is very frustrating because you're like, what happened to their 120? But then there's other times when you're going to be, up $130. So just because you got lucky, I mean, sometimes you'll get 3 draws of 21 right away, like ace 10, ace 10, ace 10. And other times it's going to be the flip side and the dealer is cleaning up. It is frustrating, but that's how random situations like that work.
Yeah, in my other podcast, the Stoic Solutions podcast, I talk about acceptance. And that's one of the pillars of Stoicism, understanding what's inside our control, outside of our control, and responding appropriately. And when I'm getting into gambling, when I'm playing blackjack, I understand that these fluctuations are going to be there. So I accept that. And sometimes I don't even look at what the dealer gets at the end. And I'm not really like rooting against it or doing anything. I'll just pay attention to my side and just grind through the money. I'm still having fun doing it. And it's nice to see the ups and downs. And it's cool to have those big winning sessions. But I just coach myself or say to myself, okay, you lost a few sessions, but this has happened in the past and you've come back from it. And we have the edge. So we're just going to keep pushing the edge as long as we can.
Right.
Maybe we won't push an edge of only a 0.5% or only 1%, and especially you working full time. What you're doing is you're concentrating on the bigger edges. So those Staples deals, the Weiss deals, various other acquisitions, maybe Wawa using the altitude reserve, all kinds of things. But it's just nice to be able to do this from home as others reach out to me. Oh, I wish I had online gambling in my state. Or some people only have the sports betting and they'd like to do the blackjack to push volume.
Right. I think this is definitely a hobby where you can pursue it as subtly or as hardcore as you want to. Every penny saved, every point earned is a point or penny you didn't have before.
So we're playing games, we're having fun, we're optimizing the rewards, we're using the rewards to travel and also a little bit of cash back. Overall coming out well ahead, as maybe some people like golf, but they're not making money through golfing, they're enjoying it. we're enjoying what we're doing and also making money and getting
Sure.
to travel at very low cost. All right. Anything else you'd like to add about the online gambling or blackjack in particular?
No, I think that's it. Just that Staples has been very consistent about having the MasterCard promo like every month, which is very nice.
Right. So it's going to be easy to get to those 25,000 thresholds through the MasterCard deals, assuming there's enough stock, as long as the edge is enough for you to justify it. Now, if you were just using a card that was giving like 1x AA miles, that might not be worth it because you're giving up the 0.5% house edge and you're only coming up that 0.5% ahead using other cards. The Chasing Cash, of course, for 5x is the top one, but also the US Bank Triple Cash is 3x or 3%, and they sent me a mailer for 20% bonus cash back. So America really loves math on that. 20% bonus on the 3x. You can pull out your calculators at home. And I have the Barclays JetBlue card, which is 2x office. I have the Barclays AA Business, also 2x office, the JetBlue Business as well. And the Delta Reserve cards with American Express, you could spend your way to status, and you're also getting a 1.5x at Office Supply.
Now, Justin, are these all business cards that you're mentioning, or are there some retail cards that also office supply stores?
Yeah, these were all business, so it's keeping the personal credit cleaner. And
right, but not everybody we're talking to has business cards.
So hopefully they can get into it because a little bit of creative thinking, I think anyone can have a business.
Yes, if you sell on eBay, for instance, if you sell on Etsy, you could have a business. Absolutely.
Yeah, and PA, I was recommending the website Inkfile, INCFILE. Now it's going by BizE, BIZEE, but inkfile.com will direct you to where you need to go. You pay the state filing fee. They send you articles of organization or articles of incorporation and register with the state for you. So it's a free service. They try to add on a bunch of stuff, but you could just decline the add-ons and just go ahead for the freebies. And then you can get an EIN through the IRS website. Don't pay anyone to get an EIN. There are a lot of scammy sites out there, but you can get an EIN for free. But you must pay the state filing fee. So I'd recommend being an LLC in most cases, not just going the sole proprietor route and telling Chase that you have a business and they ask you for documents and then you don't have it. Like I recently went to Santander Bank and opened a business checking account and they asked me for documents. And they're giving me $400 for opening this business checking account and parking a little bit of cash. So right there, that offset that state filing allows me to do a lot of other things too. And a little bit of cash flow as I've been parking this quote unquote extra money into Wealthfront, which is giving a 5% APY or in some cases a 5.5% APY. So look, okay, well, I made all these charges. My statement closes 20 days from now and I have 30 days to pay it back. So there's 50 days of free money that's sitting, that's earning interest. Okay, yeah, so more cash flow through this online play. And the NFL season is approaching too, so we might see some sports bonuses. So
Yes.
we're awaiting that for sure.
The no undefeated bet, which you always look forward to, and the occasional coin tosses where you're playing both sides of the coin on different sites.
Yeah, sometimes they'll give the even money coin toss in the playoffs or even other games.
And maybe we'll see the no shutout bet come back again.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. So we'll look at that. And some people in the audience are also doing the arbitrage betting using the website darkhorseodds.com that identifies ways that you can bet on multiple sides of the same event on different sites to guarantee a profit or at least break even. So
Right.
That was good for me for a few months. And eventually I became bet limited, where I tried to place bets. Oh, your bet cannot be placed. Oh, the maximum you can wager on this event is like $5 and some other nonsense. So
They figured you out.
they only like the losing players. Yeah, you can get your
Yes.
action down if you're just going to bet all these random spreads and parlays like I was saying. But
They love the parlays. Big money maker for them. Big money maker.
Yeah, so with all these points that you've been earning from the online blackjack, some of the cash back, you've gone on several trips recently. So can you talk
Yes.
about that, how the trips were funded and what you did?
So we have had a lot of the credit cards I had that are for hotel nights have an annual free night. So we've been using those. Also, I have two more nights rather, used one of them just recently for the Hilton business card, which they kind of killed the card, but they had a $200 bonus they offered now. It's split it quarterly, so you get $50 a quarter. And then also you can't anymore, but you could spend $15,000 in a year's time and get an annual free night. Good at pretty much every Hilton property in the face of the earth. Just a matter of getting to it. On the weekends, it was weekend night only. So we just used one of those nights to go in season to a fancier boutique hotel in Delaware.
And by we, that was you and your girlfriend Kelly, right?
Yes, yeah. Not you and I.
We'll meet in Atlantic City though, but
yeah, you.
yep.
So we did that, and I also have another annual free night from that same card that we'll be using at a nice property on South Beach in Miami. But unfortunately, you have to move over to what the Hilton Surpass still retains that ability to spend 15 grand on the card in a year's time and get a annual night, but they took it away from the business card for whatever reason.
Yeah, I've said some time ago the business card was just a cancel for me because the Amex slots are very competitive. That
Yes.
I've been canceling cards after a year for the most part with American Express, at least on the credit side, to just open a new card and get a new sign-up bonus and new benefits. So there's some opportunity cost. I wish Amex would just let us keep them all. That'd be great. But unfortunately, you can only have 5 credit cards at one time. And then you could have the 10 charge cards or the pay over time cards at one time.
It would certainly be nice to have, 7, 8 credit cards, even if you're paying annual fees with American Express. We're willing to do it if you guys are willing to offer it to us, guys.
Yeah, with Chase, I've had the United Quest card, and after year 1, there isn't a tremendous reason to keep it. Now, it's slightly positive, but there was no competition, meaning that I just decided to keep the card rather than canceling and getting a new one because I could just keep getting new ones. Although Chase did cut me off at some point, but the United Quest remains valuable. But with American Express, now that they've had the no lifetime language offers on various Delta cards, Hilton cards, and possibly more, I could just keep opening with the no lifetime language offers, and I'm not getting a pop-up. I think you got the pop-up. Can you explain the pop-up to listeners?
A lot of times, if you have not spent enough on Amex cards, they will give you a pop-up window because they don't want to pay out a bonus to you because they're afraid you're just signing up for the card to get the bonus, which is actually what we're doing. But,
mysteries revealed.
Exactly. But they want to just do
some
spend on the cards, or they get concerned if you've canceled a bunch of cards recently that you're just kind of shifting things around, so they can flag you for that reason until you just put some general spend on the cards, and then they seem to be happy and let you have the card because they're very generous with accepting new card members.
Sorry, with the no lifetime language offers, those are bypassing the pop-up, and even though we've already had the cards before, we're able to get more of the same card. So it's been really fun with American Express, and just thinking, okay, well, I don't want to keep cards too long because now I just have opportunities to keep getting more. And even though I've been an Amex card member since 2018, I've still been approved and I'm still opening cards. Whereas with Chase, eventually I just got cut off. They're like, oh, we've extended too much credit. You've opened too many cards. I've even tried to lower credit limits. I've tried to reallocate to open new cards, and eventually they just wouldn't let me get them. So I decided that it wasn't worth staying under Chase's 524 rule. So now I'm past 524 at LOL 24, just getting cards with all kinds of different issuers. And for new people to Miles and Points, the 524 rule, long story short, is if you've opened 5 or more cards appearing on personal credit in the last 24 months, you're not eligible to get Chase cards anymore in most circumstances. So that's why I'm usually advising people to start with Chase, and the Chase cards are valuable. You have several cards.
3 personal and 5 business.
The IHG is another interesting one.
I have the IHG business card, but it's a very nice card. I mean, you get it's a $99 annual fee. You get $50 in United Travel Bank, which is basically like a prepaid account that you can fund, and then they will deposit $25 per quarter, per half year, per every 6 months. They deposit $25 for you being a card holder into that account. The points are good for 6 months. There is a 10-day period where the outgoing $25 credit is still valid if you haven't used it before they put in the new funds, the new $25 amount. There's a 10-day window when you can book and use both credits, which is quite nice. I was able to do that for the flight for us going to Miami this coming fall. So I was able to capture both $25 travel bank credits. Essentially, it makes if you can use both of them, it makes the value of the cost, or the cost of the card becomes $49. And they're giving you a hotel night. The hotel night is worth what, about $250? I want to say
At least 100 a night, I would think.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's 40,000 points, the maximum redemption value. You can certainly find properties for 40K that the retail price is $250. So you're talking about
lots of good things with that card.
Yeah. So even if you only capture one of the $25 vouchers for some flights, you're still coming out ahead. My goodness.
Yeah. And the World of Hyatt personal card is another chase card that I really like. That's another spend 15K, get the free night certificate. It gives you elite qualifying nights. Just having the card, and the sign up bonus is usually pretty big on there too. So
yes,
lots of good things happening. So for the people, annual fees, I don't want to pay annual fees. Well, if it's only about $100, $95.99, whatever it is, and you're getting more than 100 in value in year 2 and beyond, it's great. But in year 1, it's usually a no-brainer because you're getting the big welcome offer that's easily worth more than $100.
And pretty much all of the hotel cards that have an annual free night, or the Choice Premier card that have that gives you points per anniversary, pretty much all of them are keeper cards because you're earning more than what the cost of the card is. Like the value of the free night or the value of the points for the Choice card are worth more than what you're spending for the annual fee. So these really are keeper cards.
Yeah, unlike the American Express Plum card that very few people have had, and just keep it for 1 year, and that's about it. Unless you're in some really, really specific situation needing more cash flow, that's about it. But even then, the card is quite a stinker after year 1, and even in year 1.
But yeah, the IHG Rewards Premier card right now has, I think, 15 days are left for a 300,000 point offer after spending $4,000 in 3 months. It's a boosted offer. It's higher than normal, which is usually when you want to try to get these cards if you can. If you're in the market for a card, why not go for the better offers?
Yes, and we'll be approaching Q4 as we're recording August 20th. October, November, December are approaching. So we'll get to go on the Dollar General Thanksgiving World Tour probably, and a lot of other very interesting gift card deals and deals in general, I think.
Because even if you aren't, reselling gift cards, you're certainly going to make out just for getting gifts and personal spend even.
Lots and lots of opportunity. Yeah, I think I'm going to, one way or another, stop at $10 or $15 Generals on Thanksgiving Day, so I'm ready to go. Yeah, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Well, I know I got several Tofurkeys from Giant Rewards. You guys can have them, and I'm out to Dollar General. I need to make some money. Today's the day to do it.
Right, you and your Tofurkeys.
Yeah, the Tofurkeys and the vegan ham. I'm sure we'll see a lot of those again from Giant, Weiss, and perhaps ShopRite and other locations.
What some of your listeners may not know is that you're a vegetarian.
Yeah. So they're all right. And they're easy to make. I don't think they go bad, at least not in the near future. Although some of the holiday rewards, like we mentioned earlier, you've put in the freezer. And I think these can be frozen too, but I'll try to use them within like a month or two. Yeah. And the lasagna, another holiday option that's quite common. So lots of stuff going on for Q4, that's for sure.
War and Happiness, where they won't let you have more than one, even if you have more than enough points.
Oh, yeah. So that's why you have to have like 20 different accounts. Yep.
Yes.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, hey, can I use your Giant account?
Yes, exactly.
I just need the barcode. That's all.
Right. Even distant friends, it works out for that too, because they don't really look into it.
Oh, yeah. All your friends in Minnesota and Michigan who are never going to step foot.
They don't have Weiss out there. They don't have Giant.
It was kind of funny when I asked some distant friends to sign up. They actually got a store loyalty card through postal mail. Yep,
absolutely. Photograph the barcode for you.
Yep, all good. Any other travels that you've gone on recently?
Night in Delaware, we did. Kelly's son Brian graduated college. We were able to use one of the annual free nights for that stay. We went to go see him, for rehearsal night, then graduation, or baccalaureate rather, and then graduation. We stayed at a Marriott property for that. That was nice. I think we're talking about doing an Atlantic City at some point, which you've been advocating for me for a while.
Oh, yes. The status match merry-go-round is inevitable and mandatory. It's a religious pilgrimage in miles and points.
I'm working on it. I'm waiting for them to match the status from Wyndham over to Caesars.
Yes.
So
And
we're
you'll
in the
have your
process.
My Vegas game rewards to use as well.
Yes. Yep, that for sure.
Yeah, how's your phone army or phone farm been going?
Pretty good. I haven't played as much as as I should, just because life gets in the way. But they're all sitting here looking at me.
Yeah, it's my evening ritual here. I get home, I power up all the phones, run the games, and then I have the Win Slots and Wind Creek Casinoverse app auto spinning throughout the day because they
Right.
don't appear to have caps. And like the My Vegas games will just like flame out after 2 hours. At least with Win Slots, I'm gem capped, but I'm earning coins that help me get the chests. And I open the chests and get more chips. And Wind Creek Casinoverse works in mysterious ways as well because the gem earning stops, but you still earn the other currency. But after a few months, I started earning gems again. So who knows?
I have not been earning gems again. It's been a very sad, sad tale.
You can't just go in and get like 100 in free play and 100 in food every time.
Oh
They're just
boy,
going to limit
no.
you.
Yeah.
Or do the
Um,
hotel night as well. Just get all the rewards in
exactly.
one visit.
All the rewards. So
Yeah.
no, it is nice for that because we go there for concerts and they have the food court outside, so you can always get
Yeah, a
full concert.
$25 food comp in the food court goes a long way at the Chinese restaurant and the
Sure.
salad place there. All right, and to move on to a final topic, you were looking at a starter combo of cards that might be good for people just getting into Miles and Points to consider.
Yeah, for those listeners who are kind of going to dip their toe in the program, but not don't want to get like they're always afraid of getting 20 cards, and you kind of want to get a couple for travel. Maybe you want to travel with more upscale freedoms. You're not like you get to enjoy some priority pass time. You get to go into some lounges, experience that, get free bags, get annual free night at IHG, and get splurge on a fancy night at a Hilton property. It's a 3 card combo I kind of came up with. So if you got the IHG Rewards Premier card, which right now has the 300,000 point bonus for $4,000 in spend, $99 annual fee, and 2 separate $25 United uh, credits for travel credit for the travel bank, essentially making it, as long as you can capture the travel bank, makes the final price of $49. You get an annual free night. You also, as a card holder, get to stay 3 nights on points. You get a fourth night for free. You also get global entry or TSA pre-check, which is a nice little travel hack to get through the line faster at the airports. And it has, reasonably okay earnings, including 5x on restaurant, which is worth about 4 cents back per dollar spent. Get that card. And then to go over to American Express, sign up for the Hilton Surpass card, which is currently 130,000 points. Points are worth about half a cent a piece versus 8/10 of a point with IG. $150 annual fee with that one. You'll get $200 in Hilton cred paid out quarterly. So you're going to get $50 per quarter to spend at any Hilton property on incidentals, whether that be food or things in the gift shop. And then also you'll get an annual free night certificate for spending $15,000 in the card, which is where I would advocate putting all of your spend, as long as if you're starting out, putting all of your spend to make that $15,000, so that way you get that night, which is could be worth. I mean, the property we're going to stay at in Florida is $750 a night.
Wow, so
So
really good
you're
value
you're
on that.
getting really good value. Yeah. If you go to New York City, there are some properties that you could use this card for, like Ritz Carlton. You've stayed at before. I have not, but you have. Those can go for $1,000 a night for the standard rate.
Yeah, the
So
Waldorf Astoria's up
there we
there
go,
too.
Waldorf
Yep.
Astoria. Yeah, I mean, you can literally spend $15,000 and get $1,000. Like, there's an anniversary night, for you and your significant other.
Yep.
That's a great way to travel.
Yeah, I must add, even if you go to a Hilton property only once per year, you mentioned these $50 credits, you can request a Hilton gift card. You can go online, purchase a Hilton gift card, and they ship it to you, and that negates or uses the quarterly credit. So if you're only going to a Hilton property once per year, you can use those quarterly credits to get a gift card, and then you'll have like 200 for that one visit rather than
Oh,
just
nice.
50, 50, 50, 50, or worse yet, the breakage of just not using the quarterly credits and losing out on that $50 credit.
Yes, I just used that on the hotel in Delaware and used the $50 credit.
Yeah, that's using the card itself. But yes, the gift
Yes,
cards, if you were to want to put that spend into the future, that works pretty
right.
well. Although there have been some data points where people have had some difficulty using the gift cards, particularly at international locations. But for the US locations, you just simply use the gift card. It has a meg strip on it, and you swipe it, and it will just take off from your hotel bill, kind of like a split tender.
Third card I would advocate getting for our little tiny, travel combo would be the United Explorer card from Chase. So that has a 50,000 point promo for spending $3,000 in 3 months. I do want to say that the Hilton Surpass, you're spending 3 grand in 6 months, which is a long period of time. But the United Explorer from Chase, 3 grand in 3 months gets you 50,000 points, a $95 annual fee, but year one it's not charged, it's free. And then there are some dining and hotel earnings, not nearly as good as the other two cards I mentioned, but you do get 2 United Club passes per year. So that'll be you going through twice, or you and somebody else going with you going into a lounge during a layover or before your flight takes off at the various United properties or United airport lounges at various airports around the country. You and a cardholder get a free bag with your flight, and you also get the $100 TSA Global PreCheck travel credit. You'll get those every 4 years, the same way you do with the IHG card. So you're spending $100 to get the TSA or Global PreCheck. You're spending $100 for that, but you're getting reimbursed for the card. So you're between you and like your spouse or you and a significant other, you're going to get 2 of those between these 3 cards because the IHG has it as well.
Nice, some good options. If people are outside of the United footprint, maybe they can substitute in the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Chase Sapphire Preferred's a $99 annual fee as well. That would earn travel points, which can be either transferred out to various partners they have, or you can get an uplift of 25% for booking through their travel portal.
All right, so 1.25 cents per point. And then you're choosing whatever airline you would like through the travel portal.
Yes.
Or partner-wise, usually the transfers to World of Hyatt.
The thing I like about the United Explorer card is that you get the club passes when you're in the lounges as opposed to being out there with everybody else and paying exorbitant prices for food, because they always have nice drink and food options within the lounge, really good Wi-Fi typically. And you feel like you're treating yourself a little bit.
Yeah, you can go to the airport ahead of time or during a layover. With my layovers nowadays, I always try to time the layovers at least 2 hours, so I'm not having to rush, or if there's a delay, that can make things really complicated. So it's nice hanging out in the lounges during the layovers for sure.
Yes.
And I'll be flying into Chicago, as I'm going to be speaking at both Chicago Seminars events, one in September, one in October. And then from Chicago, I'm going to go to Las Vegas and speak at Zorkfest in November. So I'll be using United for a lot of these, as I have lots and lots of travel bank credit from various American Express cards.
So that has an annual net cost. Those 3 cards have an annual net cost of what, $199, like $300 basically, as long as you can use the two $20 United Travel Bank.
Then maybe they'd want to substitute out the IHG card for the US Bank Altitude Reserve. Can you talk a little bit more about the Altitude Reserve?
Sure. The Altitude Reserve has a $425 annual fee.
Yep, $425, and then the travel credit of $350.
$350. Okay, and then you also get reimbursement for TSA or Global PreCheck as well, and that also comes with either 8 or 10, I can't remember, Priority Pass lounge visits. So you and the significant other can go through together, 4 times total or 5 times total. Priority Pass lounges are very nice as well. So there are not as many of them, except for these like minute suites and things like that. The Club MCO, and there's a few different club opportunities for you,
right,
in various cities around the country, and you can actually see them in advance. So you can actually make your layover choices, your flight choices, keeping that in mind, not just the layover location, but also do they have a lounge.
Right, and that card is really good for earning, as it's the 3x on mobile wallet spend, or 4.5% back.
Right, because the points are worth a penny and a half a piece, essentially. So it's very good for anything you can do mobile pay. Whereas, everyone who starts to get into the hobby starts saying, "Oh, I don't have an uplift for home improvement stores. I don't have a card rewarding gas stations. Be up to this point. So let me get this card and that card." And if you get the Altitude Reserve, everywhere seems to have mobile pay. You can go to the doctor's office and do mobile pay when you're paying your copay. You can go to the car repair place and you're using mobile pay to tap and get 4.5x.
Yeah, and once again to mention your dealership, you also accept mobile pay, so you can
We
even
do.
use that Altitude Reserve to pay 2,000, 3,000, or whatever might be
Right.
allowed towards the purchase of a good used vehicle, or even
Yep.
a new vehicle if you want
Or repairs. I mean, nobody wants repairs, but if you can get
it. Yep.
4.5x
Yeah,
back, it
I
helps a
don't know
little bit.
of I don't know of many cards or really any that would specifically bonus auto dealerships. Now there's the
Right.
FNBO Ford Pass and the GM card, but having the Altitude Reserve for 4.5 is going to bonus it better than the Ford Pass and the GM card would.
I mean, anywhere that's mobile pay, or even those weird situations where you're in the movie theater paying for tickets, and it's like, yeah, the Chase Freedom is good for uplifting movie tickets this time, and then you also have a different card for restaurants that's uplifting that, and you don't know how it's in a code, but you can just use the Altitude Reserve and pay for it regardless
Yeah,
because you're
really
gonna
easy.
get
So
it's the same uplift.
yeah, it gets rid of the what card you use where problem. And I think people get too hung up on this, and like people outside of Miles and Points, oh, well, I signed up for this random bank credit card because it gave
Yes,
me 4% back on gas, but then the sign up bonus was only like $100. Like, okay, well, you're not getting much overall value from this card. But with
people
the
on their
Altitude
PNC
Reserve,
cash rewards card.
but with Altitude Reserve, you're getting a really big welcome bonus. You're getting benefits and the travel protections because it's a Visa Infinite card. So you get travel protections for rental car, delayed flights, lost luggage, all kinds of things. And the big sign up bonus with the good earning. So it's rare to usually get both, where you get good earning and the big sign up bonus.
Always winning, and the answer is
Yes,
always more cards.
always more cards. And as past podcast guest Darren also said that this is a pretty good player two card.
I actually have the card on my girlfriend's mobile pay, so she never has to wonder because she never likes to think about what card to use, what card to use. So I just have her. This card is on her mobile pay. She just can pay for it. Just don't worry about it. Just pay, and you're doing all right as far as the return. You don't have to worry about her maximizing certain categories for me, or just use one card is better for gas stations versus restaurants versus whatever.
Yeah, easy going there. And with the points, what has been your experience with the real-time mobile rewards feature that you have to use to cash out these points?
You can limit it to certain categories so it doesn't bother you about lower dollar amounts or about non-category related things because of course it gives you a better return on spend if they're travel related. Right now I have mine turned off except for those particular categories so I don't get bothered as much. A text comes through and you decide if you want to redeem for points or not, and it does the work for you. So it just takes care of that as if it didn't appear in the bill at all.
Right, it's like a purchase eraser feature, but in this case, it's proactive rather than some other cards where you have to log in after the fact, then use points to offset as a statement credit.
Yeah, I think the Capital One cards, like their
Yep,
venture
adventure.
cards, you have to go
Yep.
looking for them. Where this is just you just get a text. But if you've noticed, you only get like an hour window to redeem. So if you're about to get on a flight, for instance, you may not be able to capitalize on it because poof, the opportunity is gone.
It usually comes in right after the purchase, though.
Okay.
And I've used this where I've booked award travel flights where I would book something with Delta domestic and I'd have to pay the $11-ish fee. And I could also use the points to offset that. So it's rare to find cards that will offset those little charges. And it's also been fantastic for cruises, especially if the cruise allows you to make deposits toward it and pay in advance.
Yes.
Instead of having to pay the whole amount at one time, because with the Altitude Reserve, you need to have the total points balance in order to offset the charge. So it was one cruise line, I forget exactly which one it was. They said, oh, well, you can make 4 different payments in advance rather than paying it all today. So, okay, why not? There was no additional fee, and that was a nice way
Right.
to cash out the Altitude Reserve points.
Even if you only use them for like 2 of the 4 split
Yeah,
payment.
I guess we could have the very first world problem of, oh, I have all these points, but I don't know what to use them on. But
Yes.
with this, I just keep cashing them out because one weakness of the card is that they don't have any transfer partners. You're just always getting that 1.5 cents per point, but it can go very well in the other category where you can't use points for those expenses, or you find very low cash fares for domestic flights. All right, anything else you'd like to add as we're nearing the end?
No, I think that's it. We just keep hanging in there in the hobby and earning more travel.
All right, more blackjack in your future, more travels, and
Of course.
more applications.
Yes.
All right, and one more time, if you could talk about where you work and if people want to buy a car in the local-ish area.
Yeah. So I'm a sales consultant at Miracle Buick GMC Cadillac in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, the thriving metropolis. We have pre-owned cars as well. So we're in the southeastern portion of Pennsylvania, about 90 minutes from Philadelphia, and we can do vehicle purchases from out of state. So you would come to the dealership, we'd be glad to help you out, show you a test drive, and go out in the vehicle of your choice and kind of put some numbers together for you. And if everything works out for you, you can go home in that car that day.
And the website, as you have inventory online.
Sure, it's going to be miracleauto.com and also miraclecadillac.com. Pre-owned inventories on both websites.
All right, very good. Anything else for our listeners?
No, I think that's about it. Thank you for having me.
How many years has it been now of points and miles for you?
American Express, I think I joined in 2019. So that's about when I started getting to the hobby. Maybe 2018 is when I started. I think we're at currently like 25 or 26 active credit cards.
Oh, nice. So working full time and also doing this as a side hustle of sorts.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening and stay tuned for future episodes. Visit hurdygurdytravel.com to contact me, find me on social media, read select episode transcripts, schedule a free consultation, and use referral links to support my efforts. Find the show on many podcast platforms and YouTube, where you can find bonus videos. Supporting me with monthly donations on Subscribestar will give you special perks, including a custom podcast episode, questions answered by upcoming guests, and monthly private one-on-one conversations delving into more advanced topics I don't openly discuss at length in podcast episodes. Visit meetup.com/Philly Miles and Points to learn about the monthly Greater Philadelphia Travel Credit Miles and Points meetups I host in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. I hope to see you in person at a future event. Find a link in the show notes. I'll be speaking at multiple events in 2024, including the Chicago Seminars September event at Hyatt Regency, the October Chicago Seminars event at Holiday Inn in Elk Grove Village, and the Miles Points and Gambling event Zorkfest, November 2024 in Las Vegas. Listen to my other podcast, the Stoic Solutions Podcast, found at stoicsolutionspodcast.com. My podcast guests and I offer practical wisdom for everyday life inspired by the ancient tradition of Stoic philosophy from Greece and Rome. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Travel at low cost with points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.